Hi, brothers and sisters. Today is October 31st, 2021. The time is 2:09 p.m. So, first of all, brothers and sisters, I want to apologize to y'all because yesterday when I gave that message, I should have split that message up two ways. And I know some brothers and sisters probably got offended, and you probably had every right to be offended because I took what Jesus gave me. I took it back to him, and he had to quicken into my spirit like the very last thing I remember saying to him. And I was asking him, like, was he sure, like about that message? And he said, my sheep will know my voice. So, like I said, I should have split the message up two ways: one for the sheep, one for the bride of Christ. So, y'all apologize on my end for that. I was trying to just do it all at once and was thinking maybe it was all together, but I should have split it up. So, anyway, God has been uh, dealing with me on some other things. And brothers and sisters, God has God has been showing me a lot within the scriptures and everything, and I have not really been bringing it to you all. So, and I know that I'm a leader. So, and y'all have to know leaders are shepherds. So God is entrusting you to a flock that you're over. So, and he's coming back for his lost sheep. And that's what he said. So, I'm going to give you all this dream that he gave me. So, in this dream that he gave me, I would say last night. Now, I remember seeing T.D. Jakes and his wife, and it was some more other preachers. But for some reason, T.D. Jakes and his wife stuck out. Like I seen them as clear as day. I seen them. And y'all was not thinking about them at all. So I just know I was frustrated by what I was seeing because they were like walking past a lot of, I would say, hurting people. People they could have been witnessing to or telling the truth to, but they chose not to, y'all. They were like lavished all up and fancy clothes and all that stuff. And I remember, I, I believe I don't know if I sat on the floor. I don't know what in the world it was, but I think somebody might have set their Bible down. I'm not even gonna say somebody. I knew this Bible belonged to T.D. Jakes, and I opened it up because I wanted to see what they had in their Bible. Like, was it different from the Bible that we had, that we were reading? Because I knew, like, God was upset. I knew this because it made me upset from what I was being shown. So when I opened it up, y'all, they had their own stuff in there, Like it was just worded. It wasn't worded right. It was worded the way they wanted worded. It even looked different. And I just know really upset. And I was not even thinking about them. Like I said, I was not thinking about them. None of them. There was some more other preachers and stuff I seen in there. So y'all, God gave me a number, and I'm trying to think because I had to look back over my numbers. But just basically telling me, I have to speak out, and I know what He told me before. He said, whatever He shows me and tell me, I am to speak out about it. So that's what I'm doing. So y'all, God is not pleased with that at all. Now, when I went and I was doing the morning devotion, and I opened up the Word, and it went to Ezekiel chapter 34. Oh my goodness! So y'all, I'm gonna let that play for y'all, and then I'm gonna end it. But I'm gonna bring another video. I don't know when, but I have to get it together. Um, so people can remember, because some people probably, like myself, pushing the stuff back on the back burner, forgot what their duties are. Y'all got to forget what man says, what man speaks, and listen to the Holy Spirit and be led by the Holy Spirit of God, the living God. So I'm going to play it so y'all can hear this.
The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, This is what the sovereign Lord says. Woe to the shepherds of Israel who only take care of themselves. Should not shepherds take care of the flock? You eat the curds, clothe yourselves with the wool, and slaughter the choice animals, but you do not take care of the flock. You have not strengthened the weak, or healed the sick, or bound up the injured. You have not brought back the strays, or searched for the lost. You have ruled them harshly and brutally. So they were scattered because there was no shepherd, and when they were scattered, they became food for all the wild animals. My sheep wandered over all the mountains, and on every high hill. They were scattered over the whole earth, and no one searched or looked for them. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. As surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, because my flock lacks a shepherd, and so has been plundered and has become food for all the wild animals, and because my shepherds did not search for my flock, but cared for themselves rather than for my flock, therefore, O shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against the shepherds and will hold them accountable for my flock. I will remove them from tending the flock so that the shepherds can no longer feed themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouths, and it will no longer be food for them. For this is what the sovereign Lord says, I myself will search for my sheep and look after them. As a shepherd looks after his scattered flock when he is with them, so will I look after my sheep. I will rescue them from all the places where they were scattered on a day of clouds and darkness. I will bring them out from the nations and gather them from the countries, and I will bring them into their own land. I will pasture them on the mountains of Israel, in the ravines and in all the settlements in the land. I will tend them in a good pasture, and the mountain heights of Israel will be their grazing land. There they will lie down in good grazing land, and there they will feed in a rich pasture on the mountains of Israel. I myself will tend my sheep and have them lie down, declares the sovereign Lord. I will search for the lost and bring back the strays. I will bind up the injured and strengthen the weak. But the sleek and the strong I will destroy. I will shepherd the flock with justice. As for you, my flock, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I will judge between one sheep and another, and between rams and goats. Is it not enough for you to feed on the good pasture? Must you also trample the rest of your pasture with your feet? Is it not enough for you to drink clear water? Must you also muddy the rest with your feet? Must my flock feed on what you have trampled and drink what you have muddied with your feet? Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says to them. See, I myself will judge between the fat sheep and the lean sheep, because you shove with flank and shoulder, butting all the weak sheep with your horns until you have driven them away. I will save my flock, and they will no longer be plundered. I will judge between one sheep and another. I will place over them one shepherd, my servant David, and he will tend them. He will tend them and be their shepherd. I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David will be prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken. I will make a covenant of peace with them and rid the land of wild beasts, so that they may live in the desert and sleep in the forests in safety. I will bless them and the places surrounding my hill. I will send down showers in season. There will be showers of blessing. The trees of the field will yield their fruit, and the ground will yield its crops. The people will be secure in their land. They will know that I am the Lord when I break the bars of their yoke and rescue them from the hands of those who enslave them. They will no longer be plundered by the nations, nor will wild animals devour them. They will live in safety, and no one will make them afraid. I will provide for them a land renowned for its crops, and they will no longer be victims of famine in the land, or bear the scorn of the nations. Then they will know that I, the Lord their God, am with them, and that they, the house of Israel, are my people, declares the sovereign Lord. You, my sheep, the sheep of my pasture, are people, and I am your God, declares the sovereign Lord.